Hello and welcome back to a short video explaining what to expect from this week's dev diary and livestream for Hearts of Iron 4 Man the Guns. This week was all about research, particularly the naval research page, which boasts over 50 new researches, so let's just take a look. To begin with, we have destroyers, for which we can see 7 new technologies added, as well as new dates listed on the ships, which is useful for seeing what date of ships you have from the research tab. The bottom 2 new technologies appear to be a form of detection like radar. Maybe detection rate increase, passive bonus most likely. The top 5 are a little harder to distinguish. Luckily, the dev diary shows what one of these technology is, the depth charge thrower. The thrower gives 12 depth charges for a production cost increase, meaning your destroyers can attack with greater mobility. How this will play out in the actual naval combat I look forward to seeing. However, it does concern me that it's 210 days to research. The description ironically calls it a simple mechanical device, yet it takes longer to research than current ships of the time. With cruisers and battleships, they appear to share some form of hull reinforcement technology. However, it should be noted that the cruisers appear to have an additional technology predating 1936, which converts them into some sort of primitive carrier, perhaps. Submarines come with a plethora of new technologies, which is interesting as they're commonly the most built ship for miners due to their low production cost. So here's hoping they don't buff submarines too much. With these 9 new technologies, 4 of them appear relevant to torpedoes and their capability to successfully hit and do damage. The others I can't seem to quite make out myself, so if you've got any ideas what they are, please let me know down below. As you may or may not know, Man the Guns allows you to customise your ships with different armaments relevant to the situation, which really puts you in control of what your different navies are going to do. Here you have 16 new technologies which divert into 3 different branches. I think I can safely say the bottom branch is anti-air, so you can add on anti-air cannons. However, the top 2 is a little harder for me to distinguish. If I was going to make a guess, I'd say that the top one is for light combat and the middle one, or central one, is for heavy combat. However, another idea could be naval bombardment of the shores. I leave this up to you. Again, tell me what you think. Lastly, we see the additional technologies they've added, included the all-important transport technology. Do not forget it if you're going to be navally invading. We see damage control, which we actually get to see with an image here. It's Firefighting Drills 1, which gives you a passive effect given to all ships to reduce damage on impact. It's hard to tell right now what the meta will involve in terms of naval progression, but the emphasis seems to be on repairing a strong strike force, so reducing the repair times may be just more useful. Back to the tree, we have fire control methods that will probably serve a similar function with damage prevention and mine warfare, which is rather interesting as a gameplay mechanic, and I wonder if it will be key to, for example, an allied defence of Malaya and the Dutch East Indies, because if the US isn't available to fight yet, delaying their navy with bombs while the British Navy defends the Isle wouldn't be too bad. Moving on, we have the new industry technologies, which adds a fuel branch, improving the efficiency of the conversion of oil to fuel, which is done over time. Note that now the oil branch of the synthetic refinery tree no longer increases the oil output of each refinery, but instead increases the amount of fuel generated by each synthetic refinery. We already know this final bit, but I'll add it on now for those who weren't aware. As you can see, a lot of this stuff requires a long time to research, so in order to reduce that struggle, overall research times have been reduced and boosts have been added to the game, where you can use experience gained through combat focuses, etc., and use them to buy, in quotation marks of course, research time reductions for these technologies. This applies to naval and air technologies, including all the doctrines, so Army XP can boost your way through the doctrines if you are, for example, an Italian farming Ethiopian blood. This basically sums up the dev diary, but I will take this time to add some notes. On the Hoi 4 dev stream over at Paradox Interactive on Twitch, they give us tad bits of information. Here are some nuggets from this week. Belgium was considered for a focus tree for this DLC, but was passed due to time. The Netherlands will probably have more convoys. They didn't announce the release date. You can still repudiate the Treaty of London and form the United Netherlands without the Waking the Tiger DLC if you get Man the Guns. Currently, there are no plans to create a Greek, Italian or Albanian focus tree. Future focus trees will be decided by themes and locations as they have been done so thus far. Alright, that just about wraps everything up. I hope you enjoyed. If you have, feel free to like and subscribe for more news, interesting stuff, random stuff I post, blah 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 blah.